if the race is over, what then? What is the purpose of time here on earth? How do I now define my death and birth? For that matter, what is my life really worth in the end? What's mine to give and what's mine to receive? Whom do I worship? What do I believe? It seems every answer comes right back to me in the end. What if the race is over and we all automatically win? What if the game is ended long before it even begins? What if the test has been taken and we're all passing again and again? If the race is over and we're all born victorious, if the race is over, what then? Ooh.
Beautiful, Daniel.
Wow.
Now we are ready to look at something pretty special. It's a duck riding the ocean 100 feet beyond the surf as he cuddles in the swells. There is a big heaving in the Atlantic, and he is part of it. He can rest while the Atlantic heaves because he rests in the Atlantic. He probably doesn't know how large the ocean is, and neither do we. But he realizes it. So what does he do? He sits down in it. He reposes in the immediate as if it were infinity, which it is. That is religion, and the duck has it. I've seen my share of struggle when I thought that I knew best, when I've sailed through a storm instead of stopping to rest. But it always seems the hardest when I've made up my stubborn mind. Well, I'm changing my ways this time. Wanna be like water coming down a mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Wanna be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. Have you ever seen an eagle head straight into the wind? He doesn't pick a fight, spreads his wings and just gives in. And in the end he always makes it home just fine. Yes, he knows that every storm subsides. Wanna be like water coming down a mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Wanna be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. I'll let nature take its course. No more thinking that I know where this river's meant to go. I have railed against the stars for the cards that I've been dealt, for the lottery I've never won, for the heartache that I've felt. But it always seems when I let go of expectation and regret, life has plenty of surprises for me yet. I want to be like water coming down a mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Want to be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. Want to be like water coming down a mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Want to be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. Allow yourself to yield, and you can stay centered. Allow yourself to bend, and you will stay straight. Allow yourself to be empty, and you will be filled up. Allow yourself to be exhausted, and you will be renewed. The sage doesn't display herself, so she becomes illuminated. She doesn't justify herself, so she becomes distinguished. She doesn't boast, so she is recognized. She doesn't claim credit, so she endures. She doesn't contend, and no one can contend with her. Nothing to say, nowhere to go, nothing to do. I have no promises to make, no one to know, nothing to prove. It's a strange sort of existence, but somehow it seems so true. The only thing I really know is that I don't know a thing. The only sound that I hear now is the silence when I sing. The only sight my eyes can see is the darkness of my dreams. This is how I'm born to be empty. I know nothing is wrong, nothing is right, all is in all. Right now, everything's gone, ambition and fight, no expectations at all. It's a new kind of intention, but somehow it seems so right. The only thing I really know is that I don't know a thing. The only sound that I hear now is the silence when I sing. The only sight my eyes can see is the darkness of my dreams. This is how I'm born to be. This is how I'm born to be. Empty. The 5 colors blind the eye. The 5 tones deafen the ear. The 5 flavors overwhelm the palate. Fancy things get in the way of one's growth. Racing here and there, hunting for this and that. Good ways to madden your mind, that's all. Relinquish what is without. Cultivate what is within. Live for your center, not your senses. Those last readings were from a book called The Tao, which was written several thousand years ago. The exact identity of the author or authors is unknown. Almost certainly men and women, almost certainly many writers, possibly over generations. It's considered, thought to be, known to be one of the oldest extant books that humanity has ever created. And it's a few thousand years old, which I used to think was pretty impressive. And then I went to a little town in Utah called Moab. This is now 15 years ago. I rented a little house in a little town that I had driven through on my way to move to LA to make a living making music. I moved from Chicago to LA in a teeny little Toyota Tercel. I stopped in 11 national parks along the way. Clearly, I was not in a hurry. And I visited Arches and Canyonlands National Parks on that drive. That's where Moab, Utah is. Picture Red Rock Country. Picture, if you haven't been there, picture Sedona maybe, or the Grand Canyon even. And 7 years after making that big, quote unquote, move, to LA, I took a sabbatical, a break. I spent 3 months living in a rented house along a creek in view of the snow-covered LaSalle Mountains off in the distance, and 300 million year old boulders and red rock formations right outside my window. And every day for 86, 87 days, I hiked in slot canyons and took naps under the arches in Arches National Park, and found places that aren't on the map, and took ridiculous chances with my life without paying any attention to it, given that absolutely nobody knew where I was and I had nothing but a bottle of water. Usually I was woefully underprepared in every way, and thankfully I made it out of there. In the process, I wrote 125 songs during those 3 months, most of which are terrible, and many of which no one has ever heard and, God willing, will never hear. But a good chunk of them revolved around what I was experiencing there in the Red Rock Wilderness. You see, I was there January, February, and March when there was nobody there. I mean, nobody, especially January and February. Sometimes the parks didn't even have park rangers in the national parks. I was alone. My tire tracks were the first tire tracks in the snow. My footprints were the first footprints in the red dirt. It was an amazing quiet I'd never experienced before. Those red rocks are, as I say, hundreds of millions of years in the making. The red of the rocks, by the way, is the same red in your blood and mine, and the same red on the surface of Mars, from exploding stars, from iron. We are all made of the same stardust, and the Earth itself is thought to be around 4.6 billion years old. There's a boulder in Arches National Park that's perched in such a precarious way that it's called balancing rock. It's really a remarkable thing to see. Picture, E.T.'s head on a really skinny neck. Except that when you approach it, you realize this thing is ginormous. And the sign says that this 55-foot-high boulder that you're looking at perched, which you can walk around the base and just hope there's no strong wind, even though there's no way it's that fragile, but it looks like it is, that this 55-foot-high boulder is estimated to weigh 3,500 tons. So 7 million pounds of one boulder. And then if you have some time, which I did because I had nowhere to go and nothing to do and nothing to prove, I could stand there and think about the fact that one boulder weighs 7 million pounds, and all I can see and all there is for 100 miles, literally in any direction, is boulders at least that size and cliffs 1,000 feet high made of the same rock. And then I thought, since it's all about me in the end, I allow my day to be ruined if I gained 1.5 pounds the day before, and this one boulder weighs 7 million pounds. Maybe a little perspective is in order. My bubby lived to be 98, which seemed like a ripe old age. The Tao is 4,000 years old, seems ancient. Any one of these objects that I'm looking at in this vista chuckles at 4,000 years. They don't even notice 4,000 years. The red dirt that you walk on those trails is not red dirt. It's former mountains, whittled away one drop at a time. One drop of water, frozen and thawed, one grain, one molecule at a time. And fast forward millions and then billions of years, and you have soft red dirt beneath your feet, former boulders, former cliffs, former mountains. And then I thought, how long would it take for a pebble in a fountain in my front yard to wear away to nothing? If water is flowing over a pebble, how long does it take for the pebble to disappear? All of this was to inform me that I might be taking myself just a little bit too seriously, worrying a little bit too much, taking too much credit, taking too much blame, spending too much of my day and my thoughts and my life wondering how I'll be remembered when none of us will be remembered, not in the specifics, when the love we give and the work we do is for now, not for later. When the expectations of people who came before us, whether they're parents or teachers or ancestors, those expectations need not burden my day today. If today is all I have, then I am free to today do the best work I can do. Today, I can breathe deeper. I can allow what I do to be enough without beating myself up for the award I didn't win, the fortune I didn't make, the call I didn't make. It's okay. Why wouldn't it be okay when the best things in our lives, the best things, come from circumstance and happenstance and coincidence and accident, whatever you define these things as? The best things in our lives, the best day of the vacation is the one day you didn't book solid. Your favorite restaurant is the restaurant you didn't plan on walking into. Your favorite side street is the street you turned onto when you got lost. Why worry so much? The 10-point plans and the 10-year plans, they're games we play to exercise the illusion of control. Life can be much more present and easy than all that. Thank you for joining me today. I'll see you again in a little while, and enjoy the rest of your retreat.